Sisi ndio Sifuna. That is the brand new political movement that has very suddenly swept through the country called Kenya and has taken very many people completely by surprise. Most of us analysts are still scrambling, trying to understand what this animal is. Well, today in Kitengela, in the outskirts of Nairobi, but in Kajiado County, those Kenyans who are taking Sisi ni Sifuna movement lightly, ignoring it, had a very rude awakening. Oh yes, because this mega rally was really a mega rally, and it pulled the kind of crowds that brought memories of political legend departed Raila Amolo Odinga right back. And for those who still want confirmation that this is a very serious new political player that has arrived, a serious threat to the plans of William Samoei Ruto and the second term, those doubts must now be thrown out of the window merely by observing the reaction of the government, how the government responded. How did they respond? Well, somebody messed up the sound system. Now, in this kind of mega rally, if there is a problem with the sound system, kwisha maneno. But even as Sifuna people scrambled to try and at least make the sound system workable, at least audible kidogo, there was another surprise on the way. Tear gas was lobbed right into the middle of the crowd. It is not too difficult to figure out what the plan was of those who did this very evil thing, because it even endangers the lives of people. People get trampled on, all kinds of nasty things happen. What they wanted to achieve was chaos, because usually when this happens, people start looting shops, people start stealing other people's phones, there's chaos. But guess what? That did not happen. And of course the end game here is that usually that one ends the meeting. Well, again, they were frustrated. This meeting did not end. It continued even after the tear gas. But I'm sure most of you have all that information, or at least most of it. So what I'd like to do here is to focus on analyzing the politics. Now, granted, politics is usually very unpredictable, and I guess that's what makes it so exciting and interesting and addictive to follow. However, where this is going is not good for Ruto's two-term bid. That is rather obvious. But it is also not good for the unified opposition. Oh yes, you heard me right. You see, there is something that most people have already sensed, and indeed we have mentioned it on this channel a few times. The mood in the country right now is a lot of anger and a determination to drain the swamp. What does that mean? It means that leaders who have been there before, older Kenyans, veterans in Kenyan politics, hawana bahati. What Kenyans are looking for is a brand new set of leaders. And indeed, the Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna seems to have arrived at the right place at precisely the right time. Of course, with a lot of help, believe it or not, from State House. Oh yes, because State House has used certain leaders within ODM to turn that party that Baba started into something that is now unrecognizable, completely unrecognizable. This one came out very clearly today because Oburu Odinga and his gang were having a rally in Mombasa. And the contrast between the two rallies was a true test of where the real ODM is, the real original ODM party. Because we all know that ODM without tear gas is not ODM. I mean, it was a very vivid contrast. Oburu Odinga and gang sweating in the hot, humid Mombasa climate, in the very well-financed gathering with no people, versus the packed Kitengela Rally, where there was a serious crowd control problem. There were too many people. And of course the signature, tear gas. It is as clear as day. I think it is now clear that Kenyans want a brand new start. And the brand new start cannot include the usual suspects. The same politicians we have had, it doesn't matter whether they're in the opposition or in government. The same politicians we have been seeing all these long years who have not brought change. I'm afraid the time is up. Kitengela was a very, very clear signal of this. Indeed, I dare add that I sense what we saw in Kitengela is a very significant shift, a game changer in our politics, where going forward, things are going to go in a very different direction. Tribal groupings, boardroom arrangements and contracts and agreements out of the window. Kwisha maneno. It would seem that from here going forward, it will be people power all the way. And any minute you start having doubts, please refer to the Kitengela videos. You know, it is clear that frustrating Edwin Sifuna within ODM has lifted him to the status of a king. Oh yes, that is what we had in Kitengela. We were told, Sifuna is what? Sifuna is king. And you'd better take that one seriously, because the Sifuna wave is very real. At a rugby match yesterday, a gathering of rugby fans, they broke out chanting Sifuna's name from nowhere. Maybe to understand this Sifuna thing, it is important to understand that it seems that Kenyans do not want half-baked changes. They do not want gradual changes. What Kenyans are yearning for is very drastic change. And there is no way you're going to achieve that by failing to be firm. Sifuna has been very firm, very consistent. And I believe that is why he has very suddenly, actually from almost nowhere, touched the hearts of many Kenyans right across the board. You know, I'm on the ground. I love talking to people on the ground all over the country. And what I'm getting is that Kenyans of all ages are now very suddenly looking up to Sifuna as the leader, the only leader capable of bringing about the change that Kenyans so deeply yearn for. You know, I looked at Governor James Orengo, one of the very few older Kenyans in the Sisi ni Sifuna movement. And I thought to myself, the history he has with the Sifuna family could not have been far from his mind. You see, in the 80s, we had the very famous bearded sisters, who were politicians within the National Assembly, who dared to oppose the Moi regime. Orengo then was relatively young, but he worked very closely with a key member of the bearded sisters, a man called Lawrence Sifuna, who is the uncle to Edwin Sifuna. Lawrence Sifuna, of course, passed on in 2023. And so here is a much older Orengo with roles reversed. Now he's a veteran, dealing with a younger Sifuna, fighting the system for real change in the country called Kenya. Anyway, in my opinion, we should all brace ourselves, because there's going to be a lot of political drama coming our way very shortly. And the truth is, it is not going to be easy for the Sifuna movement. I am afraid what we saw today, sabotaging the sound system, throwing tear gas in the middle of a peaceful, legal, constitutionally allowed rally, that was just kionjo, a tip of the iceberg. I believe what is coming. But please take heart, because this movement has one huge advantage: the power of the people right across the country. I firmly believe that is what is going to turn our politics completely upside down, so that it is unrecognizable. And I believe that there is a fighting chance that the big change Kenyans want may have started today in Kitengela. Now, before I go, allow me to say something very shocking. I'm sure it's going to be shocking to most of us. I have not yet gotten the evidence, but I have a nagging feeling that there's some very powerful Kenyans behind this movement, already supporting this movement financially. Please allow me to leave it there until I finish gathering my evidence. But what we must take careful note of is that if this is indeed true, then it means it will be even that much harder for these new kids on the block to be stopped. Now, it is more than super fascinating that in my past highly sensitive special reports, I have spoken at length. I have revealed sensitive information about some of these powerful people who are in a position right now to bring real change to Kenya. And not because they want to, but simply because they've been cornered by a leadership we have in the country right now that has no idea what they're doing. And this has really messed up their business interests and left them with no choice but to do something, anything, to get out of their current situation. And I'm sure you'll be delighted to know that yet another sponsor has stepped in. Actually, I have two of them lined up. Gosh, what is happening on this channel? And so for the next 48 hours strictly, because I don't think I'm going to take any more sponsors. This one is becoming crazy, Strictly for the next 48 hours, you still have an opportunity to get a permanent golden key, which means you get everything Kumekucha, all the paid content, without paying a single cent. You have that opportunity of landing that golden key only for Kenya shillings 999. You can see the details on your screens right now using the usual number. Please move with speed to avoid being left out. And I believe you already know that immediately you get this golden key, I will send you all the past highly sensitive special reports where you'll get some of the information I have been talking about just now. But not only that, there is how they finished Raila. Very sad story. Inside information on exactly what happened, including a timeline, to Cyrus Njirongo. What really happened with General Gola? Oh yes, it was yet another assassination. Oh boy. And a lot of other highly sensitive information that will shock you to your bones. And so I urge you once again to take action quickly. Details on your screens right now. Sisi ni Sifuna. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.